this is shape there, we're going to kind of use that as a guide. Remember, memory reference, memory reference. That's the cognitive drawing way. Cut this in half. That's kind of where the muscles stop. There's probably a little bulge. So grab a pencil and paper and give me 15 minutes of your time, and you'll be able to learn to draw this from memory as well. Okay, so this is what we're going to learn to draw today. The female arm based on this pose, which is based on a photograph. The first thing to do is look at this reference image for a few seconds. Got it? So now without looking again, draw it from memory on a piece of paper.
What the heck?
Exactly. Draw it as good as you can at your current ability starting now. If you're doing this exercise with me, pause this video. When the timer runs out, we'll move on to the next step. Cut this in half. That's kind of where the muscles stop. That's from memory. Let's compare now to our reference. I definitely have a bigger bulge of a shoulder here. There's more weight down here than on the shoulder. Now put the timer back on the screen and you can draw along with me from reference. I'm just gonna try to hit these nice lines. It's so subtle, and it kind of bulges out towards the bottom of the arm because of that position. I didn't even get that twisting shape. And this part is a little less intense. It doesn't come out quite as far as I drew it coming out. Now look, I have a lot more room here than, it's almost like I made this all stick out just a little bit too far. And I gotta keep that bottom part bigger. And I apologize for not using the actual muscles when I am describing things. I'm just kind of going based on sight. I prefer it that way, and my argument is that if you're drawing something for the first time trying to figure it out, you don't have the luxury of knowing what every scientific name is of anything. So you're just you're trying to figure out the shapes, you're trying to figure out the shape language. Now to see if we retained any of that. And so let's cover up all of our reference now and do it again from memory. You can always do this with any reference material you want at any time. I don't want that to be too big. I did that the first time. Remember, I know there was a flat part here. And then we have this bone. There was like more of a twisty. This was shorter. My brush kind of has some blemishes in it because of my computer's like a little slow, and so it kind of stutters. I'm just going to leave a lot of those blemishes in there because it's kind of how it is when you're drawing or with a paintbrush or anything like that. We'll just embrace the flaws in our lines. It's okay to be sketchy. It's really just trying to learn those general shapes and getting those ideas ingrained into our memory. That looks pretty good. There's still this bulge right here is still a little high. Compared to here, it's lower, but that's pretty good for memory, I think. Now this stuff here, you could do this whole lesson with just these shapes if you want. I think that's probably a good idea. Obviously, there's some really cool lines here that you can just practice with muscle memory just to try to get these basic shapes down, and that will really like strengthen how you draw this quickly. The point of this exercise here, or this sketch, was to show you where all these places where the bones can be visible. So keep that in mind. You have collarbones, there's all these bones in the elbows, and right here you can see the bone all the way through there. And so now we'll just do it from reference. We'll just start with this neck, comes down, we have this, comes out and it kind of stops, and I have it way more bulky than what it is in the actual reference. Again, we need to practice that shape of almost more like that. And then if this is the shape there, we're going to kind of use that as a guide. That twisty part of the arm where you see the bone here, the muscle kind of bulges up here, it's flat. Make that collarbone not so prominent. Okay, so here's my progress that I made for this lesson. Again, here's our reference, our nice reference. Obviously the things that I learned was this arm doesn't have to be so bulky on the top half. This would be more of a male arm. I learned about the twisting of the arm because the hand is rotating like this, and so the bones are twisting. So if tomorrow you can draw this again from memory and reference, you will really help retain that, because if you sleep on it, your brain consolidates those memories. There's a lot of science on memory consolidation. So if you practice it today and then sleep on it, and then tomorrow you do another round of memory reference, your brain will will really connect a lot of those dots, and it will help it to be stored in long-term memory. These cognitive drawing workbooks are available. You can download it, print out these sheets, and do them yourself at your own pace.